Good morning. Thank you all for coming out here to Victory Park. I'm Layla George, the President and CEO of Olmsted Parks Conservancy. I want to thank the funders who quite literally made this project possible. J. Graham Brown Foundation continues to model philanthropic leadership in our community, and we are so grateful to them for their support. CoSara Charities allowed us to create this incredible play space that you see behind me. We want to thank them. And then last year, when we had a meeting with the neighbors, they said, all this work outside in the park property is awesome, but we really want to use the lodge more. So Brown-Forman stepped up and funded a renovated kitchen and improvements in the lodge. GE Appliances helped us stretch those dollars by donating appliances. I want you to know the lodge has a kitchen that's probably nicer than most of ours now, so we really thank our contributors who allowed all this work to happen. I would also be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to give huge props to our partner, Louisville Parks and Recreation. Jason Canuel works with us on all of these projects, along with Major Waltman, who is our project director. Dana Kassler has shown brilliant leadership since he took the helm, and he promoted Masude to take over operations. And one thing I want you to notice is the grass is cut. The grass is cut in all of our parks right now. So they have cut the mowing time in half. So I think that deserves a huge round of applause. So it takes a village. It takes all of us working together, but this work really matters. So we put out a press release for this event a day or so ago, and I got a media alert last night for a story from WHAS. I want to specifically call them out, and here's why. The headline said, Victory Park, $1.1 million revitalization project is completed. And here's what was written in bold right underneath. Victory Park looks better than ever, and it's because of the people who live here. Far too often, stories about Victory Park and West Louisville as a whole are about crime or gang violence or drugs, but not this time. This time it said, Victory Park looks better than ever, and it's because of the people who live here. As someone who is too often frustrated by the way West Louisville and its residents are portrayed in the media, I want to thank WHAS. I want to thank you for telling this story because this story matters. We've worked in the park the past few years, and we've worked alongside these neighbors. Neighbors who came out and helped clean up the lodge when some ceiling tiles fell in. Neighbors who worked alongside Matt, planting trees and bushes to beautify the park entrances. Neighbors who came to meeting after meeting after meeting to tell us what they wanted in this park, what they needed. Neighbors who came out a couple weeks ago to give the lodge a fresh coat of paint. These relationships don't just happen. They are built over long hours working side by side. And for that, I have to thank Sarah Wolf, who is standing behind me. Sarah is our Program Director of Community Engagement, and she is the sole reason that residents here feel heard, they feel valued, and they feel supported. So you all are changing the narrative of this community. And because of you, it really is true. Victory Park looks better than ever, and it's because of the people who live here. Thank you. I now want to introduce Mayor Greg Fisher, who felt this project was so important that he had to be here. So this is kudos to the people who live here and the residents. Mayor Greg Fisher.
Thank you, Layla. Let's hear it for Layla George, who runs Olmsted Parks. She's always giving the credit to everybody else. Couldn't do it without your leadership. Well, this is really a milestone day when you think about what we've wanted to do in all of our park system, but to see Victory Park right in the middle of the action and the type of community involvement that's taken place here by people that love this community and our city of Louisville so deeply, to see their fingerprints all over this park from where it started and where it is today, I think is a wonderful testament to citizenship and involvement. And when you bring together great organizations like the Olmsted Park Conservancy with our people and our parks, we can do anything. And this is real evidence of this as well. So for all the Victory Park folks and leaders, not just in this project, but projects around the park that have gone on for years, certainly throughout the time of my administration, I want to say thank you to all of you all for continuing to step up and believe in your kids, in each other, in the city, and just say we're going to keep going. I mean, look, all of us in life have setbacks from time to time, and it gets tough. The question is, what happens when you get knocked down? And the folks here around the Victory Park neighborhood are real models for the rest of the city in terms of let's just keep moving ahead. Let's just keep moving ahead. And I just want to say thank you to you all. Good job. Great job. We're so lucky to have Olmsted Parks in our city as well. We're one of, 6 cities in the country? 4 cities in the country. So it's something that I brag upon all the time because of the beauty and the foresight that went into having the Olmsted Parks, the parkways in our city. And you just smile every time, Masude, when you go and you see our big healthy trees, making it a little bit cooler here today. And so to bring this legacy of over 100 years, bring it up to today with today's feature is really something. And it's happening throughout our Olmsted Park system. It was a few months ago where Layla, Dana, and I joined Councilman Brandon Cohn and neighborhood partners to announce the improvements at Tyler Park. And they're phenomenal what's going on there. Last fall, we celebrated the completion of the work at a beautiful new pavilion in the Bonnycastle area in Cherokee Park. And the new playgrounds have recently been installed in Boone Square, Algonquin, and Elliott Parks. And now this, obviously, a new playground, spray ground, kitchen, community meeting room, tree plantings, connector paths in Victory Park. I mean, you guys say, hey, we're proud of our city. We've got a lot of good things going on here. And when you take a look at the lodge transformation that Layla talked about, if you've been down here, and I've been down here a lot, I mean, there's a lot of family gatherings, a lot of great parties, and now they're going to be enhanced even more by the great transformation inside. And I think in many ways this renovation is a reminder to all of us what's going on in West Louisville these days. We've got about $1 billion of investment that's taking place in West Louisville as we speak right now, which is the most in generations. And it's just wonderful to see the community involved with the big projects, whether it's a Beecher Terrace, significant parks project as well. There's just a lot taking place in West Louisville. And one of the things I hope that comes out of that is everybody says, I can see a bright and positive future that I'm connected to. And I'm going to do something as a citizen to make a difference, just like you all have done here in Victory Park. This is also an example of what leadership can make happen. And I'm talking about the Olmsted Conservancy and their campaign for extraordinary parks. When they announced the Victory Park project, there was a line going out the metaphorical door of people saying, how can I be involved? How can I help Victory Park? So again, kudos to Olmsted Parks. The Humana Foundation, James Graham Brown Foundation, PNC Foundation, Corsair Charities, everybody understands that we have to have great parks in each one of our neighborhoods in our city. And it's especially important right now because, and I hate talking about this. I've been talking about this, I guess, hopefully I won't be much longer, but I'm going to be until there's a change. And that is we have budget challenges. You know, we had this $35 million budget cuts in this last budget that went into effect on July the 1st because of the pension-related changes from Frankfurt. And then some of our council members didn't want to raise revenue, so we've been having to cut. And unless things change, those type of cuts are going to be taking place in our next 3 to 4 budgets. So one is if you don't want things to keep being cut, talk to your council people. Councilperson and Council Chair David James has been a great advocate saying we need more resources. Our people deserve good services. So we appreciate that. But everybody, please tell your council people that as well, or else these cuts that you just saw with this last budget, that's just the beginning. And it's about a third of what's going to be coming unless we get a revenue solution. So that means less investment in parks, less police officers, less ambulances, less firefighters. We deserve better than that. But your council people have got to hear from you. It's also why it's so important that we have nonprofits step up, like the Conservancy, the Louisville Parks Foundation, Wilderness Louisville, to help with projects like this, where the private sector can say, okay, if there's not government money, maybe we can help out. So we really appreciate that. I can tell you that my team and I are going to continue to fight for revenue to support our park system and all of our city services. We're going to continue to have big goals for our city. We are a medium-sized city on one of the next breakout cities that's been identified, and I'm not going to give up on that. And you all shouldn't give up on it either just because we're having some budget challenges right now. We got to fight through that. like champions so we can get to a better tomorrow. And I commit to you that my team and I will be doing that 24/7. In the meantime, we're going to celebrate great milestones like this here today. So thank you all, and thank to everybody for making this a wonderful project. David James has been a champion, a fighter for this project and many projects as we go through our budget challenges. We're here in his district, so please welcome Metro Council Chairman David James.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. How's everybody doing? Good morning. Welcome to the 6th District and welcome to Victory Park. I'm really excited today because I can remember about 3 years ago when we started these conversations, and I remember sitting down and talking to Norman and Alex and Michael Ballard and Aunt B and talking about, well, we're going to make these great changes in Victory Park. And we were all looking at each other like, well, maybe not. I don't know. Can we do this? And the Olmsted Conservancy, they brought their resources to the park. We had boards set up along the sidewalk there, and people started making choices about the things they wanted in the park and where they wanted it in the park and what it was going to look like and where it was going to be placed. And for me, that was real important because I wanted people to be able to say, I had a part in that. That decision was a part of me. And so that when it finally got built, that the people in the neighborhood that asked for the things in the park would actually see those things in the park, and they would be a part of it, and it gives them great pride in their neighborhood because the people of Victory Park and that live around the park love their neighborhood. And the city had not been doing well in investing in this part of the neighborhood, and it was time for that to happen, and that is what you see today. And you see a beautiful basketball court, and you see the walking path, and I can tell you that sometimes I leave City Hall and I'll drive past the park just to see how things are going, and I'll see Norman Parker and Alex and them walking the walking path in the morning, and I'm like, dang, I need to get out and walk too. And so that's important, and we drive through the park and I see people playing basketball and the kids playing in the spray ground and all the things that make a community a community. And so this park is here because of all the people that helped make this park be here. But most importantly, I really want to thank Layla and Olmsted because you all have done an outstanding job. And I want to thank also Sarah Wolf with Olmsted because before Olmsted, before Layla, you all made the commitment to do these things. If I would have said Olmsted Parks here, people would say, well, what's that? Now when I have conversations with people in the community and I say, well, what about this? And they say, well, I don't know, let's talk to Sarah first. And so I think that's fantastic. That means you've really embedded yourself in the neighborhood and taken great pride in the neighborhood, and you've built relationships with the people in the park and friends of the park. Friends of Victory Park are a group of people that live here in the neighborhood, and they love this park, and they love this neighborhood, and they work to make it better every single day. And I just want to echo that and say that so everybody's aware. And so that you're aware of that, on August the 3rd, it is Victory Park Day. Say it one more time. Victory Park Day. That's right. So it's Victory Park Day, August the 3rd, right here in the park. You'll find bouncy houses, you'll find kids, you'll find face painting, and you'll find a lot of great food because Michael is a great cook. And it's just going to be a great day, and I want everybody to come out and enjoy it and have a great time in the park. And I'm trying not to repeat anything that the mayor or Layla said. So with that being said, thanks for being here today, and we love everybody that helped make this day happen. Thank you very much.
I think we're going to do a ribbon cutting now.
Just real briefly, Vincent James runs all of our community building for the city, which is a huge job. Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods, Public Health, Zoo, many agencies, but also the Parks Department. So he's going to share a few thoughts with us here today. Please welcome Vincent James.
Thank you, Mayor Fisher. Thank you for your leadership for our city. When we think about what leadership is and you think about what our city has been facing, some of the challenges, it takes real leadership to be able to step up and to be able to look beyond what the challenges are and see a future. So thank you. And thank you, Layla, for your just focus and energy and excitement that you've brought to the Olmsted Conservancy and the work that you're doing in Victory Park, and Councilman James for your tireless effort in thinking about our community. This park is very special to me. I was right across the street when I was 2 years old. I got my first haircut at Haskins Barbershop. And my father used to bring me over to the park, and this is where I learned how to play catch and baseball. And so living and growing up in this community, being a part of this community, seeing the various transformations throughout the years, things change, but things change for the best when you have people in the community that are connected and focused and willing to put their hearts and minds and energy together to be able to say, what can we do to make this the best place to live in this city? And the residents of California and Parkland and throughout this city have come together and said, we are better than what we've seen, and we want to be the best, that breakout city that America is talking about. And these types of projects and these types of efforts with public-private organizations, public-private sectors coming together and working in unison to be able to say, this is what we want and this is how it's going to get done. And today we're celebrating a finished, completed project, but the best is yet to come, because we recognize that we truly haven't seen what the true potential is until we get everybody involved. And so there's others who are seeing this press conference, who are in our community. They're going to see this and say, how can I get involved? And when we get the collective body involved in this city, we truly will be that shining city in the country that everybody would want to come and visit. So thank you for your participation, your partnership, and your desire to make a difference. And one person truly can make a difference. Thank you.
I do think one person can make a difference, but there is one person who has made a tremendous difference in this community, and that is Norman Parker.
How you doing? Thank everybody for coming out. I always start off with how this whole project started about, and it starts with me and Mike. Me and Mike and was Deep Area? Me and you? And we went and met up with Marty. We had a meeting with Marty, and we was floating ideas and ways on how to get people back to using the park. And so I think we floated frisbee. And then we ended up with kickball. So we leave Marty with the kickball in 2 years in a row. And I believe the mayor came out to one of the games. And you had different neighborhoods from all over the city come out and enjoy adult kickball games over here in the park every weekend. And it was successful, man, and it really brought the city together. And it just spoke to the will of the people, you know, of this community, man, to really grab in and say, man, we want more for where we at and what we see every day. And so it's that story that I always tell with Marty. And that was the beginning of the neighborhood taking on the ownership for the change that y'all see today. And it ain't every day that you go into a neighborhood in West Louisville and you see these type of investments made. You know, you get these Cozar, GE, even Olmsted coming out and asking the people of the community, you know, what do you all want? What do you all want to see in the park? And then really take those ideas of the members of the community and then put them where y'all see them now. And so it's a wonderful day for me, and it just speaks to the will of what can go on when you take a community and you partner it with private investments and people who's really committed to seeing a change come about. And this is what you get. So thank y'all for coming out.